Okay, make it make sense. A shoe 99.9% of the actual sneaker community couldn't touch is sneaker of the year. Not a joke, not a drill. The Louis Vuitton Air Force One is their sneaker of the year. And this is top 3 new models. What's going on, everybody? It's your girl TJ back. Another video on Talks with TJ. And it's that time of year we start to discuss these top 10 lists, and they are very subjective. Let's just say that off the bat, they are subjective lists. So what I may put on a list, you may not put on a list, vice versa. And I'm choosing to highlight part of Complex's list simply because they are someone that is at the forefront of the culture. They are out there. You know that name if you don't know anyone else in sneakers, but this top 10 list, I'm not even going to run down everything in the top 10. It's mostly the sneaker of the year they've chosen as number 1 that concerns me. It feels very out of touch, and I think that's my issue with it. It feels out of touch. Now, myself, do I watch the Complex Sneakers podcast? Yeah, absolutely. I do. I actually prefer to watch it on YouTube, and I'll just put it on and let it play, and I'll get to actually watch it as I'm doing other things creatively, usually while I'm trying to film my own videos and different things. So I enjoy the podcast. I enjoy the longer form content. So it's not as if I'm not someone that supports it. But I have questions, though, and this came out a minute ago. So I think they officially tweeted this out November 19th. Okay, so November 19th, if you follow them on Twitter, they put out the countdown of their list. And again, it's really just this number 1 pair. Now, that's not to say that the Louis Vuitton Air Force One is not gorgeous in its traditional print for the fashion house and designed by the late, great Virgil Abloh. All respect there, 1000% respect there. And we've already heard that we will get more things, down the line from him, according to his wife, and projects that never were released prior to his passing. So I think that's exciting. His legacy will continue to live on. We'll get these designs, and hopefully if you enjoy them, you can rock them. Y'all, who was this list for? Who was the sneaker of the year for? Let's just start there. Like, who was sneaker of the year for? Now in 2022, we have the Louis Vuitton Air Force One taking sneaker of the year. This shoe itself, and the price point of what the general consumer, even in sneakers, and we spend a lot more than the average person will on sneakers in any given year. It was still beyond out of touch for them to even think that they were going to acquire the shoe, had access to the shoe, could afford the shoe, would pay for the shoe. I mean, remember, a lot of you were going off about regular Air Force Ones and Air Maxes going up by $5 and $10 increments. So to say that a pair is $2,000, $2,500, or $1,500, yeah, really, was that shoe made for you? It wasn't. I 100% get what they're trying to do. These are fashion houses partnering with these brands via whatever designer has stepped in. And it's a shoe that's made for the people that already shop, let's say, on Rodeo Drive or wherever it is that they choose to shop. And they want a sneaker, though, that's catering to them. Great, cool. Everybody deserves a pair, but it's not really a pair, at least to me, for the culture. Because who do you know? Who do you see out in the Louis Vuitton Air Force One? Just go ahead. Like, do you see people like out in the wild amidst this pandemic? Do you see people out in the wild in the Louis Vuitton Air Force One? You probably don't. Not with people complaining about inflation. Thankfully, gas is back down, but inflation and what could happen as we head into this possible recession, even though we've technically kind of been in one, according to some economists. Who is the Louis Vuitton Air Force One for? Outside of Khaled with a whole pillow courtside at a basketball game. Yeah, I mean, he's doing him. He's living life. He's thriving, but Complex. And maybe it's just that I expect a little bit more, or I want a little bit more from you when it comes to these lists. Thank goodness that a New Balance made it onto the list. I actually expected more New Balances to be on this list, at least 2, based on Matt contributing to the list because he's such an avid New Balance fan. But at least 1 made it, right? Joe Freshgoods Performance Art made it. He's on the list. Now, where they rank, I could find it differently, but at least he's on there. I'm just grateful that it's on there. I don't understand this Union Dunk Low being on there. I'm not getting that. I expected the 2 and the 3 where they placed them to be on there. I get that in terms of hype, some of the story that's there. I understand that, but for that number one, no. Now let's move also to the best new releases they put out for 2022. Who did Drake pay to make it into the top 3 of this list? Who did Drake slide some funds to for this to happen? That hot mess Steppa is literally the cousin of like an ugly K-Swiss. How is it like top 3? It's just not making sense. The math isn't mathing for me. It's not mathing for me. I just don't understand. Now, I will say this. I like where the LeBron is placed because to me, the LeBron 20 and the KD 15, I like that both of these are on the list. I think the KD 15, I personally might have moved that up, but again, that's subjective. When it comes to KD 15 and the LeBron 20, we're seeing this return to a functionality on the court and off the court for performance and lifestyle. And I think we've missed that in Nike basketball for a very long time. Like I rocked my LeBron 8 South Beaches the other day, and I'm just like, man, what a time. What a time. So I really like that KD, he's releasing these really fun pairs. I like the silhouette. I like the design. And then also for LeBron's 20, it hits. I was able to look at pairs in hand recently this past few weeks, and they hit. Whether it's grade school or for men's sizes, they hit. So I really like the LeBron 20 being up there. I like KD being on this list as well. I just don't understand the Drake pairs top 3, and I am very confused that the 9060 didn't make the list. And it is truly, again, this is just personal, the new model of the year, just in design. It really is for me, but it just feels a little out of touch. That's all I'm saying. So go ahead and comment below your thoughts on their sneaker of the year, but then also their top 3, I guess, best new silhouettes of the year. Curious to hear your thoughts. I will work on my list for the year. And like I said, it's a fun time, but it's not a fun time because the comments go off in terms of a list not being what somebody else thinks a list should be. And that's just human nature. I get it. So I'll take all the comments in stride, as I always do. And no matter what, remember, you have a phone. You can literally get up here and upload a list of your own if you hate every single list that any creator on this platform comes out with. But with all that being said, I really appreciate you tuning in. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.